Good morning.
So have you signed comedy before?
I have.
Are you any good?
I like to think I'm okay at it. I'm probably more experienced than a lot of people in the country, only because I've kind of specialised in theatre and things like that.
Is it a skill beyond regular signing?
Definitely. There's all these complex layers that are added on top of when you're trying to translate humour. So, yeah, definitely.
So what are you doing? Because one of the things that immediately strikes me about comedy is a lot of it's spontaneous. It's off, it's and you've got to move in a sign. Can you do that?
With great skill. We generally only select interpreters that have had a lot of experience in platform interpreting, so stage interpreting, who have learnt the interpreting process, so they don't have to worry about how do I sign that. It's more about what do I sign, the variations that I can use to portray that humour.
One of the things in an audience, when you're sitting in an audience in a comedy show, is the mood of the room. And that's what makes it funny or not funny. The same way you can look at a comedy show on television, not really laugh while the audience is wetting their pants. How do you do the mood in the room?
You have to indicate it. So we have certain signs that actually show how people are feeling within the room. So it's almost like you're doing almost like subtitles to the actual show. You're subtitling pieces of information, extra pieces of information in. Yeah. And
is it a big deal for are the hearing impaired community big into comedy, or would they think, this is a bridge too far, it's not going to work for me, I won't go?
I think it's a growing area. We haven't had a lot of interpretation is very new in New Zealand, in particular sign language interpreting. Really? Yeah. It's only been around since, officially the first course that they had at AUT was set up in 1992. So it's not a very It's not a new profession, if you know what I mean. It's a new profession. So it can be hard, and also deaf humour and hearing humour. So what we classify as the general public, we call you hearing, myself included. It's very different because with hearing humour, it's a pun, plays on words, and it's very much about voice intonation and not a lot about what you see a lot of the time. So we as interpreters have to depict that in a three-dimensional space in front of us and create that. So that can be quite
That's interesting. So could you be funny to a hearing audience as a comedian and not overly funny to a hearing impaired?
Definitely.
Oh dear.
Definitely.
So you can have two different audiences going on there.
Yes,
so do you work
can.
with the artist or the comedian at all? Do they tell you what they're up to, what they're going to do, how they're going to do it and stuff, or not really?
We try to, but again, it's a very new profession, so people aren't aware that if we had prep, we would actually be able to present and render a better interpretation. But a lot of people aren't aware that we need that preparation. They think it's wonderful that we can just stand up there and do it off the cuff.
Yeah, because one of the guys you're working with is the tape guy, and he doesn't speak.
Yes.
Does that make it harder or easier?
Well, for the deaf community, I think it's going to be better because it's all visual.
Yeah.
But a lot of his comedy, because I've seen him on YouTube and things
He's
like that.
very
That was my
clever,
prep, you see. We prep like that.
Okay.
If we can't get to talk to them. And I noticed that it's all reliant on the music. So the interpreter, I'm not the interpreter, but the interpreter that will be doing it will have to actually portray the music at the right cueing at the right time so that the deaf audience can then look back at what's happening on stage and laugh at the same time, which is very difficult.